In the heart of the Mediterranean, the pirate ship Chimera cuts through the waves. At its helm stands Sinbad, a rogue with a grin as sharp as his blade. He has one goal: stealing the Book of Peace, a legendary artifact that ensures the prosperity of the 12 cities. The book is being transported to Syracuse by Prince Proteus, a man of honor and, coincidentally, Sinbad's childhood best friend. Sinbad's crew boards the royal vessel with practiced chaos. Amidst the clashing of steel, Sinbad and Proteus face off. Their duel is more of a dance, filled with the banter of two men who once shared everything. "You've really gone to the dogs, Sinbad," Proteus remarks, gesturing to Sinbad's loyal but slobbering hound, Spike. But the reunion is cut short by a monstrous presence. A Cetus, a colossal sea beast, erupts from the depths, sent by Eris, the goddess of chaos. The pirates and the soldiers are forced to fight side by side. In the heat of the battle, Sinbad is dragged underwater by the creature. Instead of drowning, he finds himself in a shimmering, dark void. Eris appears before him, shifting her form like smoke. She is elegant, terrifying, and bored. She offers Sinbad a deal. If he steals the Book of Peace for her, she will reward him with unimaginable riches. Sinbad, never one to turn down a golden opportunity, agrees. He's returned to the surface just as the monster is defeated. Proteus thanks him, inviting him to Syracuse for a grand celebration. Sinbad watches the Book of Peace gleaming in its pedestal and tells his crew to set a course. He isn't interested in friendship, he's interested in the prize.
What a rush! I thought we lost you. Come. We will celebrate in Syracuse.
The city of Syracuse is a marvel of white marble and gold, and the Book of Peace is placed in its high tower, bringing a sense of divine calm to the world. Sinbad sneaks into the tower at night, his eyes fixed on the book. But as he reaches for it, he pauses. He looks at the city below and remembers his history with Proteus. In a rare moment of conscience, Sinbad decides to walk away. He leaves the tower empty-handed. However, chaos does not accept no for an answer. Eris descends into the tower herself, disguised as Sinbad. She kills the guards and steals the book, leaving Sinbad's signature dagger at the scene. By morning, the city is in a panic. The sky turns gray, and the 12 cities fall into shadow. Sinbad is arrested and brought before the High Council. Despite his protests of innocence, the evidence is damning. King Dimas sentences him to death. Just as the executioner's blade is raised, Proteus intervenes. He invokes the ancient bond of friendship, a law that allows a person to take the place of the condemned. Proteus believes in Sinbad, even if no one else does. He will stay in the dungeon, and if Sinbad does not return with the book in 10 days, Proteus will be executed in his place. Sinbad is released, but he has no intention of going to Tartarus, the realm of chaos. He tells his crew to head for Fiji to live like kings. But his plans are spoiled when he discovers a stowaway in his cabin, Marina, the ambassador of Thrace and Proteus's fiancée. She has bribed the crew and is determined to make sure Sinbad fulfills his mission. The Chimera sails toward the edge of the world, but the atmosphere on board is tense. Sinbad resents Marina's presence, viewing her as a pampered aristocrat, while Marina sees Sinbad as a selfish coward. "You're only doing this because you're forced to," she challenges him. Sinbad scoffs, insisting that he's only in it for the adventure and perhaps the gold. Eris, watching from her constellation-filled realm, decides to test the crew. She sends the sirens, ethereal, glowing spirits of the sea, whose voices can drive men mad with longing. As the haunting melody drifts across the water, every man on the ship falls under a trance. They see their deepest desires reflected in the waves and begin to walk off the deck into the dark water. Sinbad is captivated, seeing a vision of a life he never had. Marina, however, is unaffected by the song. Realizing the ship is about to crash into the jagged rocks of the Siren's Reef, she takes action. She ties herself to the mast and struggles to steer the massive vessel alone. She uses the ship's rigging and a bit of quick thinking to douse the crew with cold water, breaking the spell just seconds before impact. Sinbad snaps out of his trance to find Marina at the helm, her hair windblown and her eyes fierce. For the first time, he sees her not as a nuisance, but as a capable sailor. The crew cheers for her, and even Sinbad has to admit with a reluctant smirk that she's not bad for an ambassador.
Not bad for an ambassador.
Days pass, and the bond between Sinbad and Marina begins to shift from hostility to a playful, competitive respect. While searching for supplies, the crew spots a small, lush island in the middle of the ocean. It is a tropical paradise filled with exotic fruits and strange, glowing plants. The crew eagerly goes ashore to rest and replenish their stores. As Sinbad and Marina explore the island, Spike, the dog, starts acting strangely. He barks at the ground, which feels unusually rubbery and warm. Suddenly, the island begins to vibrate. Massive geysers of water erupt from the shore, and the trees begin to tilt at impossible angles. To their horror, they realize they aren't on an island at all. They are standing on the back of a colossal prehistoric fish that has been sleeping for centuries. The creature begins to dive. Chaos erupts as the crew scrambles to get back to the Chimera. Sinbad grabs Marina as the ground beneath them slips into the sea. They are nearly dragged under by the suction, but Sinbad uses his grappling hook to snag the ship's railing. In the frantic climb back to safety, Marina saves Spike from sliding into the creature's mouth, and Sinbad pulls Marina up just as the creature vanishes into the abyss. Back on deck, dripping wet and breathing hard, the two share a laugh. The danger has brought them closer, and Sinbad finds himself looking at Marina with something more than just professional admiration. But the clock is ticking. They have only a few days left before the execution. The journey leads the Chimera into the north, a region of eternal ice and jagged glaciers. The cold is biting, and the ship must navigate a treacherous maze of icebergs. Eris, frustrated by Sinbad's progress, decides to up the stakes. She sends a rock, a bird of prey made of snow and ice as large as a castle. The rock descends with a screech that cracks the ice. It swoops down and snatches Marina from the deck, carrying her high into the mountain peaks. Sinbad doesn't hesitate. He grabs a shield and a rope, leaping onto a nearby ice slide. In a high-speed chase across the glaciers, Sinbad snowboards down the frozen slopes, dodging falling boulders and icy pits. He reaches the rock's nest just as the bird is about to feed. Using his wits and his agility, Sinbad creates a distraction, causing a massive snowslide that buries the rock and allows him to grab Marina. They tumble down the mountain together, landing in a soft snowbank. As they huddle together for warmth, the walls between them finally crumble. Marina asks Sinbad why he really left Syracuse years ago. He confesses that he loved her from afar even then, but knew he could never give her the life a princess deserved. Marina is silent, realized that the pirate has a heart far deeper than he lets on. But their moment is interrupted by the sight of the horizon.
Why did you really leave Syracuse?
They have reached the end of the world, the gates to Tartarus.
Is that?
We found it! The gates to Tartarus!
The Chimera reaches the edge of the world, where the ocean spills into a vast, starry abyss. It is a
terrifying sight, a waterfall into infinity. To enter Tartarus, they must sail the ship directly over the edge. The crew is terrified, but Sinbad's leadership holds them together. "If we're going to die, let's do it with our eyes open," he shouts. The ship plunges into the void. Instead of crashing, they float into Eris's realm. It is a place where physics don't exist, filled with floating ruins and constellations that move like living things. Sinbad leaves the crew and enters Eris's palace alone. The goddess of chaos greets him with a mocking bow. She holds the Book of Peace, teasing him with it. "I'll give you the book," she purrs, "if you play a little game. I'll ask you a question. If you tell the truth, the book is yours. If you lie, I keep it." Eris looks into his soul. "If you don't get the book, will you really go back to Syracuse to die, or will you run to Fiji and let Proteus take the fall?" Sinbad looks at the book, then at the starry expanse. He thinks of Proteus's sacrifice and Marina's face. "I would go back," he says firmly. Eris laughs, her voice echoing like breaking glass. "Liar!" she screams. She tells him that no man is that selfless, especially not a thief like him. She banishes him from Tartarus, empty-handed. Sinbad is cast back into the mortal world, his mission a failure.
The 10th day has arrived. Syracuse is a city in mourning. In the central square, Proteus stands on the execution block, his hands bound. King Dymas pleads with his son to renounce the bond, but Proteus remains steadfast. He looks at the horizon, waiting for a ship that never comes. The sun begins to set. Just as the executioner raises his axe, a cry goes up from the harbor. The Chimera has returned! Sinbad leaps from the ship and sprints through the crowd, shouting for them to stop. He reaches the platform just in time. "I'm here," he pants. "Release him." Proteus is relieved, but the joy is short-lived. "Did you get the book?" he whispers. Sinbad shakes his head. "No, I failed." The crowd gasps. According to the law, if the book is not returned, the execution must proceed. Sinbad steps onto the block, replacing Proteus. He looks at Marina, who is weeping in the front row, and gives her a final brave wink. He puts his head down, accepting his fate. The executioner swings the heavy axe, but as the blade touches Sinbad's neck, it shatters into 1,000 pieces of light. The sky rips open, and a furious Eris descends from the heavens. "You were supposed to run," she shrieks at Sinbad. "You're a thief! You're a pirate! You weren't supposed to come back!"
You were supposed to run! You're a thief! A pirate! You weren't supposed to come back!
Eris is shaking with rage. By coming back to face his death, Sinbad proved that his answer in Tartarus was the truth. In the realm of chaos, the truth is a binding law even the gods must obey. Because he told the truth, Eris is forced to fulfill her end of the bargain. She spitefully hurls the Book of Peace at Sinbad's feet before vanishing back into the shadows, vowing that this isn't over. The moment the book is returned to its pedestal, the gray skies vanish. The sun shines brilliantly over the 12 cities, and the sense of peace returns to the world. Sinbad is a hero. King Dymas pardons him, and the city erupts in celebration. Proteus is free, but as he looks at Marina and Sinbad, he sees the way they look at each other. He realizes that their bond is stronger than any political arrangement. With a heavy but graceful heart, Proteus releases Marina from her engagement. "Go," he tells her. "Your heart is already on that ship." Down at the docks, Sinbad is preparing the Chimera to set sail. He's back to his old self, barking orders at the crew. He thinks he's leaving alone until he sees Marina standing on the pier with her bags. "You're going to need an ambassador," she says with a smile. Sinbad grins, pulling her aboard and kissing her as the crew cheers. The Chimera heads out into the open sea, not toward Fiji, but toward new, unknown horizons. Sinbad is no longer just a thief. He is the legend of the seven seas.
So, where to now?
Let's find it out!